Oh my god, how awesome is the TV show Firefly and the movie Serenity? I know there's a lot of ScIQ viewers out there who loved it. I mean, who wouldn't? It was made by Joss Whedon, and it had star systems and space cowboys and Nathan Fillian. Nathan Fillian. It was set in an awesome future where there's laser guns and mind control and faster than the speed of light travel, and so most of the universe is colonized. And did I mention it stars Nathan Fillian?
If you hadn't heard of Firefly till now, and I hadn't until Jayde forced me to watch it, the sci-fi TV series had a cult following in the early 2000s.
What I want to know is Firefly science even possible? Well, let's take a look at some of the science concepts and see if they could happen in real life.
Number 1, terraforming. In Firefly, they've taken the planets that are completely unlike ours and made them habitable. Whether or not the planet has an oxygen atmosphere, a moon to sustain the tides, or a rotation that makes farming possible, the planet always turns out completely habitable, even comfortable. Planets that should be freezing require no more than a light jacket in the verse starcluster.
There's a lot of real science behind terraforming. Scientists are looking at doing it right now at places like Mars and Europa. But the biggest problem is probably going to be gravity. If the planet has too much mass, then there's too much gravity and humans could never move around. If the planet has too small a mass, then there's not enough gravity. And that's never going to change. Them's the plain old rules of physics. Most of the planets on Firefly have Earth-like gravity, which means they've somehow managed to find dozens of planets with exactly the same gravity as Earth. Now, that's not impossible, but I'll class it as pretty unlikely.
Number 2, sonic rifles. A sonic rifle is a non-lethal weapon, usually used by law enforcement, which emits a highly focused, low-pitched sound wave with enough force to drive a relatively large man to the ground.
I hope these get sold in stores one day because I could totally use them on the people who get in my way playing Pokemon Go. There's only one problem with sonic rifles. Moving an object with sound requires very specific conditions that can't be met in a normal environment, like where a weapon might be needed. So objects can be moved by something called a standing sound wave. A standing sound wave occurs when a wave emitter, like a speaker that's set to one specific frequency, bounces off another surface, like a wall, in the exact opposite motion of the original wave. Because the incident waves, the ones that are still being emitted from the speaker, are crossing the reflected waves at hundreds of times a second, the waves appear to take on the form of sort of an hourglass. They're apparently still. That said, the standing sound wave is capable of moving an object by trapping its particles in the nodes of the waves, the equilibrium point on the sound waves, like the surface of the ocean before a wave comes and moves the water up and down. Towards the end of the 11th episode, Trash, we see Mel fire one of these rifles at a policeman, and although the gun might well be set to the perfect frequency, which would have to adjust itself in every situation, there's no background for the waves to bounce off, so it can't create a standing wave.
Number 3, artificial gravity. On the Serenity, you'll notice that the passengers walk around the floor rather than drifting aimlessly through the ship. This is due to a technology that is actually seen all over science fiction as an easy justification for why everyone isn't floating around: artificial gravity.
So how does artificial gravity hold up to scientific scrutiny? Well, surprisingly pretty well. Whilst we're nowhere near being able to send our astronauts into a spacecraft that perfectly replicates Earth's gravity, we have been able to minimize some of the health effects of living in zero gravity. So how does it work? Well, interestingly, artificial gravity works in almost the opposite manner to gravity itself. Instead of pulling objects together, artificial gravity relies on a force that pushes objects away from a focal point. The capsule containing the astronauts spins to create a centrifuge, and this force is called inertia. It's one of the reasons why you can spin a cup without any water falling out if you do it fast enough. This is why, for a ship to be able to copy Earth's gravity, it has to be huge enough to make sure that the whole wall of the ship is big enough to use as a floor. That's exactly the layout of the ship in the film The Martian. The ship is going on such a long mission that it pays to equip it with Earth-like gravity. And if we plan on going to Mars anytime soon, a ship with perfect artificial gravity is definitely the way to travel. But the Firefly ship is shown to be not spinning. It looks like it relies more on some sort of futuristic magnet type technology, which is a little bit less realistic. Get it right, Joss. Alright, Firefly fans out there, have I missed anything? Or maybe you have some other sci-fi technology that you're dying to debunk. Let me know in the comments below.
Hi everyone, I'm Jayde Lovell, resident science nerd on the Young Turks Network. You're watching ScIQ and we know you don't want to miss an episode, so please click the subscribe button down below.